What is freedom of expression? To the government, it's allowing their citizens to express themselves. Somewhat. But as soon as it threatens them, they shut their citizens off. Is freedom of expression something only the government can grant us? Is it only for certain people? No, the freedom of expression belongs to every human being on the planet. It is absolutely not something the government can take away from us. It is a basic human right, one of the most important. But what does that entail? What does it mean for a government to respect their citizens' freedom of expression? It means people have the freedom to communicate their ideas and thoughts. They have the freedom to express or not to express what they know, think, and believe. It is the freedom to express love. It is all of that and more. But it isn't the freedom to hurt others or to violate their rights. Freedom of expression means much more than the government has on paper. Some governments don't even have it on paper. Most all governments don't even come close to fully respecting this important right. But in a perfect world, with perfect governments, freedom of expression would be respected. A perfect government would allow citizens to tell the government what they thought, give their opinions, love freely, protest and petition freely, and speak freely. With the governments today, that isn't possible. They are way far from perfect. But closer is better. So the closer the government gets, the better. But just how far off are modern governments? Let's focus on one in particular, Malaysia. In Malaysia, the freedom of expression is being violated by the government day after day. The citizens of Malaysia are given no right to express their beliefs by their government. When universal right of humanity emphasizes freedom of expression, many who are speaking out toward the government and calling them out on what they're doing wrong are being silenced. The silencing power of Malaysia must come to an end. In order for the rights of Malaysian citizens to be fully granted. In Malaysia, there are major violations of the important human right, freedom of expression. The Malaysian government investigated and detained 23 individuals in the time span of 50 days. Their only crime? Speaking their mind. Their expression was punished and their right violated. Why can the government do this? The nullification of the Sedition Act is key if Malaysia would want to not violate the freedom of expression anymore. The Sedition Act was established in 1948 because they were having problems with slander toward the rulers. It was when the communists were trying to overthrow the monarchy and replace it with a communist republic. The monarchy was undergoing a lot of criticism, and they established the Sedition Act. However, it has absolutely no grounds in Malaysia today. The government is using it to silence the opinions of anyone they don't agree with. Now they are arresting anyone who is peacefully expressing themselves, or protesting, or petitioning, or just giving a speech. A member of parliament and vice president of an opposition party named Nurul Izzah Anwar was arrested and detained for a speech opposing some actions of Malaysia's government. This was a violation of her freedom of expression. She was only expressing her opinion, and she was punished for it. Her father also faced similar something similar for his criticism of the government. He was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. If the Sedition Act were nullified, arrests for assembly, protest, petition, press, and speech would no longer be allowed by the law. Therefore, the Sedition Act has no place in the government today. Malaysia would be one step closer to respecting the freedom of expression. Malaysia's government is also violating the freedom of expression in its citizens' personal lives. People have the right to do what they want in their personal lives. The government has no grounds to interfere with this right. Malaysia has interfered, though. They have beaten and treated unkindly many transgenders in Malaysia. In 2010, 4 transgender women were arrested repeatedly, and 3 of them were sexually or physically abused by those who arrested them. There was no need for such cruel actions. Some of the arrested was only for wearing women's hair accessories. They may not agree with their decisions, but the government has no right to treat them the way that they have because of that. The transgenders have the freedom to make their own decisions, along with every individual, as long as it really doesn't hurt others. Some may take moral offense to the transgender's decisions, but no one has the right to take away a freedom of every individual. Another individual. We are all equal. We are all humans. We don't have that right to take away their freedom. In order for Malaysia to respect the freedom of expression, they would need to abolish the Sedition Act. They would need to create a law that would restrict the government from treating people who are expressing themselves unkindly. And they should develop a Bill of Rights like the US has. The freedom of expression is a right that no other human has the right to take away. As humans, no one is superior to another, and no one has the right to oppress a fellow human being. The government of Malaysia is violating the freedom, and they have no right to violate.